Looking forward to playing our first road game of the season, obviously against really good competition. Uh, Coach Hurley's done a great job at ASU. They're deep, they're talented, they play well together, and we're looking forward to our first road challenge of the season and excited to get on the bus tomorrow and get on our way to Phoenix.
Thanks, Coach. We'll take questions now. We'll start with Lee.
Hey, Brian, which of the defensive metrics do you like and value the most, considering where you are statistically nationally on percentage, 3-point percentage, points allowed, turnover, steals? Which metric means the most to you?
I just think the defensive field goal percentage. I mean, if you can hold a team to a low shooting percentage, both from 2 and 3, obviously, that's the most important to me, that we hold them to a low shooting percentage and that we have them taking the kind of shots we want them to take depending on the game. Some games we might be trying to prevent the 2-point shot. Some games we might make an emphasis, we got to extend and take away the 3. So we always look at shooting percentage and our defensive field goal percentage in that regard.
Yeah, and a follow-up question. The Sun Devils have an awful lot of athletes and the number of guys who came back out of the NBA draft. Can you talk for a minute just about a couple of their hot kids? Thank you.
Well, obviously, I'm most familiar with Remy Martin. I can remember when Remy came to the San Diego State basketball camp when he was at Sierra Canyon and played with Adam Seiko and Cody Riley, who we've already played this year from UCLA. So Remy is extremely quick, extremely talented, and plays the right way. And then you throw him out there with Verge and Christopher and Bagley and the cast they have. They're extremely talented, extremely deep, and play well together.
Thanks, Lee. We'll go to Troy.
Hi, Coach. A couple of questions for you. First, with regards to following up on the Arizona State personnel question. Taeshon Cherry was a young man who we obviously saw here in San Diego play high school. I wonder if you could comment on his play with Arizona State so far this year and his career so far.
I've always been a big Taeshon fan, and when he went to Saints, obviously through his junior year, and then to Foothills his senior year, I've always enjoyed watching Taeshon play. He continues to shoot that basketball like he did in high school at a high level. If you give him an open 3-point shot, he's going to make that. And love Taeshon, love his family, and excited to get a chance to see him when we play there, obviously, in 2 days.
And then, Coach, with watching film the last couple of days after your last couple of games, have you been able to put a finger on what has caused your team to start off kind of slowly in your games?
Obviously, we're not getting off to great starts, and we're getting the kind of shots we want. We're just not making early shots. But the beauty of this team is we hang in there, we play good defense, and eventually we hit some kind of offensive rhythm. So we have our greatest growth to do at the offensive end. And so we work on that every day. And I told him I'm not surprised. We're adding new pieces, playing together for the first time. And so I'm not surprised we don't have a real rhythm yet offensively. We continue to work on playing together, playing the right way. And hopefully as the season goes on, we'll get in a little better rhythm offensively.
And then finally, you alluded to the fact that this is your first road trip of the season. And obviously it's different than other COVID or in a non-COVID year, but can you tell us a little bit about maybe things on your road trip that are going to be different that you'll see with regards to testing? You mentioned busing to Tempe. Maybe you would have flown earlier. Could you just tell us a little bit about how things are going to be different for this road trip than in years past?
Yeah, obviously we'll all come in and get tested in the morning, make sure we all test negative. Then we'll go onto the practice floor and have a good practice. And then we'll send them home to shower before we leave. You know, we're not using shower facilities here at the practice facility or at Viejas. So they'll go home and shower. We'll come back and serve them prepackaged meals. So there's not a buffet line anymore and not grab and go. And we'll spread out and eat, and then we'll jump on the bus for the 5 or 6 hour trip and mask up and head there. So, yeah, it's different. But, you know, I always say, you know, it's a little harder, but we're so grateful to be playing, you know, and so we'll endure some of the things that we don't usually have to do in order to get on the floor and play basketball. And so we're grateful for every minute we get out there and can compete.
And do you go out on Wednesday and then spend the night, or will you drive out day of?
No, that's too far day of, 5 hours to get off a bus and play. So we'll go day before, we'll stay the night, and then we'll play the game. I think it's an 8 o'clock tip their time. And we'll jump on the bus immediately following the game and bus 5 hours back to San Diego, probably getting us back somewhere around 3 a.m. But like I said, I'm not going to complain about any of that. The fact that we're practicing and playing, I'm rejoicing in that. And so maybe the trips are a little harder, but the fact we can play is always greatly appreciated.
Thanks, Troy. We go to Paul.
Hi, Coach. Pepperdine had a little bit of success with their forwards being able to shoot the three, and obviously Arizona State has some bigs who can shoot from there as well. Was that a matter of them getting hot, or did they find something in your defense, and what are you planning for Thursday? Beg your pardon. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Kessler Edwards is an elite player, and I said going into the Pepperdine game, and it'll be a lot like ASU, we can have a great defensive scheme, but they've got players capable of just bouncing up and shooting over the top of us. And that's what Kessler Edwards did. He hit some big-time shots. And so we tried multiple people on him. Eventually we settled Matt Mitchell on him at the end, and Matt did a good job. But big-time players make big-time shots, and that's what Arizona State has also. We can do a great job defensively, but at any moment they've got guys that can bounce up and make shots. So we just have to do our best to contest those shots, and hopefully they miss enough where we can stay in the game and have a chance to win it.
And then I wanted to ask a little bit about the Viejas crowd. Some of my favorite moments are when the team is struggling and everyone stands to their feet to try to encourage the team. And I just wanted to get some general thoughts about how you felt you've missed the crowd and maybe specifically in that area.
Well, we definitely miss them. I mean, we have the best atmosphere on the West Coast. And we're grateful for every fan that comes to see us play and supports us. So obviously this year's challenging. And maybe that's why some of these teams are coming in to play us this year, because they know the crowd's not going to be there. But we've done a good job maintaining our energy and staying true to our culture, which is we guard hard and we play a complete 40 minutes, stay focused, and give ourselves a chance to win. Obviously, it's easier when that home crowd is there and they're making it hard on the opponents with their noise level, with inspiring our team through hard times. But so far we've been able to manage our own selves and do it without the kind of environment we're used to.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. We go to Darnay.
Hey, Dutch. Hope you're well. Just curious. I mean, with ASU, is it as simple as their guards go, they go, and kind of along those lines, how much responsibility will be on your perimeter guys in a game against a team with the type of backcourt talent that they have?
I mean, you go into the game and you say you're going to concentrate on one guy, and they've got 2 or 3 guys that can bounce up and have 20, 30-point games. So we have to play team defense. We have to help each other out. We can't leave a guy on an island one-on-one against a very talented team. If we help too much, and guys like Taeshon will hit corner threes, Verge shoots, Christopher shoots, Remy Martin shoots, Holland shoots, so Bagley shoots. So they're deep and talented, so it can't be a one-on-one game. We have to play good team defense, and if they make difficult contested shots, tip our hats to them. But we have to make things as difficult as we can as being defensively as a team instead of just individual.
And with the slow starts, I mean, you guys obviously brought in new talent last year. Things went as smoothly as can be. You've mentioned having so many guys that can play on this year's team. In your eyes, is it possibly a lineup thing? Is it guys just kind of figuring out their roles and responsibilities? How much is that sort of thing, those factors play into kind of some of the struggles you guys have had just to find a rhythm early on?
You know, it's on me too. I mean, I have to put them in positions where they're comfortable. The second half against Pepperdine, we found something that worked where they were comfortable. The spacing was good, and we played out of that and attacked. A lot of the fast break early offense we're getting now, we don't seem to have our flow. Once they take away the initial break, we're not flowing into something. I don't want to call a set play every time. We have to play together and play in some kind of flow offense. And so we worked on that yesterday, work on that today, and I think we'll get better as the season goes on offensively. That's the thing with Aztec basketball, dating back to when Coach Fisher built this program, is we always get better as the season goes on. So 4-0 is great, but our best basketball is ahead of us, and we have to believe that and practice like that every day.
Thank you.
Thanks. We go to Mark Ziegler.
Coach. What do you remember about the last trip to Arizona State? I know Matt and Jordan played in it, and you played well in the first half, as I remember, and were kind of embarrassed in the second half. How much of that bitter taste do you think will rub off and be remembered by those guys and by you?
You know, I have a tough time remembering what happened the last game, so that many years ago. But obviously, yeah, we got off to a good start. I remember we had Malik out there and Max and all those guys, and we had a decent first half, like you said, and then they kind of boat raced us the second half and ran away with the game. And so they're capable of doing that this year. They're very talented. If we let them get out and start running up and down the floor and free-flowing, then it's going to be hard to race them to 100 points because they score the ball at an elite level. So obviously we're going to do what we can to try to limit their fast break opportunities, to try to make it more of a half-court game where we can keep the score a little lower and hang in the game where we give ourselves an opportunity to win it down the stretch.
Is your defense, the way you play it, do you think it's better suited to play a team like this? Is like to isolate guys and put defenders on a little bit of an island? Or do you think you're better off against a team that just runs a ton of motion, a ton of sets, and you have to prepare for that? What do you think you're better built for?
Well, obviously it's harder to guard a team that plays with great freedom, that has good players, because sometimes you can get ready for a set play or two and you can tilt the floor and take stuff away. But they have such great attacking players that at any moment you think they're running a play and they break out of it and they get downhill to the basket. So they're dangerous offensively, and they play with great confidence and freedom, and like good teams do. And so it'll be a real challenge to see if we can continue to not only play great individual defense, but to be there to help somebody when they get beat.
Lastly, is it possible to frustrate a team like this that has so many good players, so many good individuals, even guys coming off the bench? And you know, if the game's in the 60s and they're used to playing in the 80s or 90s, and guys are maybe have 8 points instead of 14 or 15, do you think there's a frustration factor that you can bring to this game?
You know, I think it's tough to frustrate veterans like they have, like Remy and like Verge and guys like that have played a lot of basketball. Maybe occasionally you can frustrate a freshman, but they have enough veterans where they'll do the right things. They won't get frustrated playing us. Obviously, Danny does a great job coaching, or Bobby, I should say, and does a great job coaching, and he'll keep his team focused. I don't think they'll be frustrated by us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. We'll go to Nick.
Hey, Coach, how are you doing this afternoon?
Good, thank you.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you, I'm not sure if anyone asked you about Taeshon when he was here and things of that nature, but when you were trying to recruit him, how many times do you think you actually watched him play when you were trying to make him an Aztec before he decided to go to ASU?
Obviously, we spent a lot of time recruiting the best players in our own city. So I watched Taeshon. Obviously, they came to team camp. He came to camp all those years. So we had him in the summer, and then we watched him on a very good Saints team over the years. You know, so, yeah, we were familiar with Taeshon, but like I said, everybody's path is different, and he's made a good choice. He's had a nice career at Arizona State, continues to help them play at a high level. So at some levels, we're always happy for kids we know and like Taeshon. That one night we play him, we're going to try to do our best to contest his shots, to frustrate him, to make things hard on him. But every other game he plays, I'm a huge Taeshon Cherry fan.
Well, so when he was here and you had him at the camps and things of that nature, how many games did you actually probably watch him play when he was getting up and down in high school, would you say?
Oh, probably, 4 or 5 games a year, minimally. I think we're limited NCAA-wise. I think we only can see 7 or 8, depending on what year it was. So we can't go to every game, but we saw enough games. And obviously, it's games I could see because I could be at practice and then not have to get in a car and go to L.A. I could go 20 minutes from campus to Saints and watch Taeshon play there. So we're familiar with him. We're friends with the family, and I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing Mom and Dad, everybody in the stands, and get a wave into him when we're there.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Nick. We go back to Mark.
Coach, what are your over the arc of your career? What have your interactions been with Bobby? Playing, coaching against him, or as a player or as a coach now.
I like him a lot better as a coach than I did as a player. So we played him with the Fab Five at Michigan, and he was the Duke point guard. And he was one of the fastest point guards I ever coached against. And so Coach Fisher and I were at Michigan prepping for a Duke team with a very good point guard in Hurley. And he was downhill, he was dynamic, and a magnificent player, and he's equally as good as a coach. He runs good stuff, he's hard to guard, and his kids play hard for him.
Great, thank you.
We go to Corey.
Hey, Coach, real quick, you guys had a lot of success, and most coaches hit the reset button every year. But how much of last year's swag and confidence do you see? I know you're only 4 games in, but what are the positives you've been seeing so far?
I mean, everyone talks about culture, and we've got a good culture. I mean, we've been to the tournament multiple times. I don't know if it was 7 out of 10 years, 8 out of 11 if we'd have gone last year, something like that. And so we've got a winning culture. So the seniors always bring the new guys in. They tell them what it's about, tell them what we stand for, and then we try to get better every day as a team. And so we've got new pieces we're fitting in. We're extremely deep. As everybody knows, we're going 10 deep. And, guys like Terrell Gomez and Adam Seiko and Josh Tomajic off the bench, to name a few, Keyshawn Johnson, they've all been dynamic off the bench. And so we're deep and we're talented. And as the new guys continue to get comfortable, I think we'll continue to improve as a team.